Hey everybody, this lesson's Think Central Lesson 1-9. We're going to be learning how to solve problems with unlike mixed numbers. Question number 1 is about subtracting or comparing mixed numbers. So I've drawn a model to represent the 7 3/8 here. So I have 7 wholes and 3/8. I've definitely split it into parts and wholes, which I recommend you doing. And now we need to subtract 6 1/4. So just to show you an example of that, subtracting 6 wholes would be taking away 6 wholes and then 1/4. But the problem is we can't take away a fourth. Actually we can, because I can see that this would be a fourth of this. So I know the answer is already going to be 1 1/8. But typically that's not the case, so we want to go ahead and do the strategy of regrouping and finding a common denominator. So I've drawn the algorithm on the whiteboard showing 7 3/8 minus 6 1/4, and you can see that these are unlike fractions, so we need to find a common denominator. So you can see that eighths and fourths, 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, so 8 is a multiple of both 8 and 4, so we're going to convert them both into eighths. So multiplying 4 times 2 gives you 8, and 1 times 2 gives you 2. So we're going to subtract 3/8 minus 2/8, and that's going to end up with 1/8. And then 7 wholes minus 6 wholes will be 1 whole. So the answer is going to be 1 1/8. I'm only going through the odd problems on this homework assignment because all the problems are very similar, so I felt that odds would give you enough. Here you're comparing 4 1/3 and 2 7/15, so obviously they are unlike denominators, and we need to find a common denominator. I've modeled 4 1/3 here on the board, and we need to take away 2 7/15, but obviously I have no 15ths here, so I need to change that into 15ths. First step I do is I write the problem vertically so that I can compare these fractions. So I'm looking for a common denominator between 3 and 15, and I know that the 3 times 5 is 15, so I know that it's going to be a multiple of 3 times 5 is 15, so I know that my common denominator is going to be 15ths. This fraction doesn't change because it's the same denominator. This one is times 5 times 5, so 1/3 is equivalent to 5/15. So now we're looking at this 5/15 minus 17. You don't have enough 15ths here, so you're going to have to regroup one of the wholes. So you take away one whole, and you take that one and you convert it into 15/15 and add that to your parts, so you end up with 20/15. So I've renamed the fraction 4 1/3. 4 1/3 is the same as 3 20/15. I've renamed that fraction so that I have enough parts to subtract. So I end up with, in this problem, 20/15 minus 7/15, which is going to end up with 13/15, and then I have 3 wholes minus 2 wholes, which is 1 whole. So the difference for this problem should be 1 13/15. Problem number 5, I've gone ahead and modeled the 7 1/8 here. I modeled that for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 wholes over here, and then 1/8 here. Taking away 4 5/12, so I can easily take away my 4 wholes. It's going to leave me 3, but I cannot take away my 5/12 from this because these are not 12ths, these are 8ths. So I'm going to have to find an equivalent fraction with a common denominator. Trying to find a common denominator between 8 and 12, I'm going to go ahead and do the multiples of 8. 8 times 1, 8 times 2, 16, 8 times 3 is 24. I'm going to stop there because I know that 12 times 1 is 12, and 12 times 2 is 24. So I'm going to use a common denominator of 24. All right, it's double rainbow time. 12 times what is 24? Times 2, so what you do to the bottom, you do to the top. 5 times 2 is 10. 8 times 3 is 24, so what you do to the bottom, you do to the top. 1 times 3 is 3, so you end up with 3 24ths and 10 24ths. Obviously, you do not have enough to subtract 10 if you only have 3, so we must rename or regroup this fraction, taking away 1 whole and adding to this 24 24ths. So that will end up with 27 24ths when I add these two together. So 27 24ths minus 10 24ths will end up with 17 24ths. And then 6 wholes minus 4 wholes is 2 wholes. So the answer to this, the difference is 2 and 17 24ths. So for problem number 7, I already see that they have unlike denominators here. So I need to find a common denominator between 8 and 12. I've done the multiples of 8 here and the multiples of 12 here, and I ended up with 24. So I'm going to change both of these into 24ths. 8 times 3 is 24. 5 times 3 is 15. So this is going to turn into 6 and 15 24ths. And then 12 times 2 is 24. And 5 times 2 is 10. So this is going to turn into 4 and 10 24ths. I'll rewrite that more clearly. So after I convert those to equivalent fractions, I end up with 6 and 5/8 is the same as 6 and 15 24ths, and 4 and 5/12 is the same as 4 and 10 24ths. So I'm going to add up 15 24ths and 10 24ths, giving me 25 24ths, and I'm going to add up my wholes. 6 and 4 makes 10. So I end up with 10 and 25 24ths. But I do need to simplify this because 25 24ths is improper, and that's going to equal to 1 and 1 24th. So I'm going to add up my wholes over here to my tens, and I'm going to end up with 11 and 1 24th. And 11 and 1 24ths would be the answer. You can go ahead and check the step-by-step and the view example on these problems to help you build mastery. All right, we're looking at a word problem, so as with all word problems, like number 9, we need to unpack this problem. Daisy the elephant can reach a branch 5 and 5/6 feet off the ground. So I've gone ahead and drawn a picture of this. This would be a total of 5 and 5/6 feet off the ground. Leroy, the elephant, is taller and can reach 1.5 feet higher than this. So this would be 1.5 feet. So based on this picture model, I could also draw a part whole model. It looks something like this. This would be 1.5, and this would be 5 and 5/6. So combining those two together, it would give us the total. So writing the equation here, 5 and 5/6 plus 1.5, you can see that these are not like denominators, so we need to make them like. If you count by twos, 2, 4, 6, we know that we can change this into sixth. So I'm going to go ahead and change 1/2 into 3/6 by multiplying the denominator and numerator by 3. So I end up with 5 and 5/6 plus 1 and 3/6. Now that they are like denominators, it's easy to add those up. 5 and 3 makes 8. So we have 8 6 here. 5 and 1 makes, draw my column, 5 and 1 makes 6. So it's 6 and 8/6. Okay, you can see that this is an improper fraction. We need to simplify that. 6 will go into 8 one whole time, and there'll be 2 parts left over, 1 and 2/6. So I need to add the wholes to the wholes. So 6 and 1 makes 7. So 7 and 2/6. But I'm not done there because 2/6 can also be simplified by dividing the numerator and denominator by 2, and that's going to give you 1/3. So you end up with a final sum of 7 and 1/3. For this word problem, let's unpack it. The truck that carries the elephants hold 10 tons. So we're looking for a total of 10 tons. Which 2 elephants could travel together in the truck? They cannot exceed 10 tons. So whatever elephants we choose, they cannot go over 10 tons. So we need to, it's kind of a guess and check strategy. We're going to have to guess which 2 and check. Right off the bat, we know that using rounding, 5 and 3/4 and 6 and 1/2 would be well over 10, so these 2 won't work. So we're looking for 2 numbers that do work. I think it's best probably to use the answers to help us solve this problem. So if we look at Leroy and Daisy, here's Leroy and here is Daisy. Well, that's not going to work because 6 and 4 make 10 and there's some extra parts, so that won't work, so we can eliminate that. Daisy and Squirt. Daisy is 4 2/3 and Squirt is 3 2/3. So that would definitely work because that's not going to be greater than 10. So Daisy and Squirt would work. We don't really have to do the math, we just kind of have to estimate. Dora and Squirt. Dora is 5 3/4. Squirt is 3 2/3. That would work too because 5 3/4 and 3 2/3 would be less than 10, so that would also work. And the final one is Squirt and Leroy. So Squirt is 3 2/3 and Leroy is 6 1/2. You can tell right away that's not going to work because 6 and 3 makes 9 2/3 and 1/2 would be greater than 10. So that would not work. So the two answers that work here are B and C. And that's the end of the lesson for homework. Make sure you are asking for help. Mistakes are cool, so not knowing how to do it is just an invitation for you to develop mastery. Bring your questions to class, send me an email, and let me know, and I will help you. Thanks. Bye.